November 24th, 1982. This is Joe Todd, interview with Mrs. Mary Jolly. Mrs. Jolly, where were you born?
I was born in Windsor, Missouri. Well, this chair over here, or sit on the bed anywhere, don't make no difference.
And when's your birthday?
12th day of August.
What year?
Well, August.
What year were you born?
Oh, and not that. 1890.
And what do you remember about Windsor?
I don't remember anything about him at that time. I just went back there and visited. Oh, about, I don't know, been about 25 years ago. And it wasn't nothing like that, you know, when I was a kid, so I don't know anything about it.
Who was your father?
My father? Let me see. John Ball. I get so mixed up and we've got so many relatives, I just forget about them.
And where was he from?
He was born in Texas, I think. I wouldn't be positive, but I think.
Okay. And who was your mother?
And she was Belle Baker. Belle Baker.
Bill?
B-E-double-L, Belle.
Bell.
B-E-double-L-E, she puts it. Baker.
And where was she from?
Well, she was born and raised in Missouri, but now I don't know what place.
Okay. And when did you come to Oklahoma?
I couldn't tell you what year or nothing about it, but I was about 11 or 12 years old, probably 12.
So you came around 1900 or 1901?
I just don't know.
Yeah. Do you remember the trip to Oklahoma at all?
Oh, I can remember us traveling out here, but not anything that way. Else, where we went, I mean, what places we went through, I just don't know.
You remember where you slept at night on the train, or?
Well, we slept in wagons. There was a wagon load of them. I don't know how many wagons it was. 4 or 5 maybe. And the wagon that the children rode in, I was in one of them. And that man's name was Kitchen. And he was a preacher, but outside of that, I don't remember his name, either where he's from.
So all the kids rode together in one wagon?
Well, I guess they did.
Yeah.
I know it was full. They had seats on the side of the bed, you know, and we had several in there.
How long did it take you to travel from Windsor to Oklahoma?
Well, now I don't know. At that time, several days though, I do remember that much. But when we went back there in the car, we went in less than a day.
Remember crossing any rivers?
Yes, we crossed the South Canadian River, I guess.
Remember fording the river?
Yes.
What was it like?
Well, it's like any other time going through there. Wagon train, one behind the other.
Have any trouble with the quicksand or the water crossing the river?
No, I don't remember anything about that.
And what part of Oklahoma did you settle in?
Well, now, if you know what the name of the places were, why, you know what part of it. Now, I don't know what part of it. Must have been the western part, though.
What were some of the towns around where you settled?
Well, let me see. There was, like I told you, Hammond was the first one I can remember about. And there was Texoma, and there was, let's see. I don't remember. I remember there was 3 little boys born around that place, and one man named them boys after towns, and they all had different names, but I forgot what they were. I can remember the children, but I don't know their names, but them.
Why'd you come to Oklahoma?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, just 'cause Daddy wanted to, that's all I can tell you. He filed on a place, that's what they called it, filing on 160 acres. But some of them couldn't raise a fuss on it, much less anything to eat.
So your father got a homestead then?
Yeah.
Okay, did he farm it?
Well, very little, because there wasn't no farmland to it. He went away, like I said, Elk City, it was, I guess, the biggest city, because he had a team, his own team, and he hauled lumber, I can remember, from the timber, to the sawmill in Elk City. And that's about the size of it.
Whenever you first arrived there, what kind of house did you live in?
When I first arrived in Oklahoma, we lived in a half dugout. There's half dug in the ground and built the rest half up.
What was the inside like?
And just inside, the best you could do. They didn't have them. When Mother got where when they did get where they get newspapers, she lined it with newspapers. And I don't know much about it.
How big was the half dugout?
How big? Just one great big room. It was, I don't know how many feet it could, maybe made 3 rooms to it, best I can remember.
How much larger than this room here? This room is about 12 feet square.
One room would be as large as this room.
Okay, so you say there are like 3 rooms in the...
Uh-huh.
Okay. And your father built a frame house?
Not out there, he didn't.
Where'd you move after you left the homestead?
Where did we go? I just don't know where we didn't go.
You mentioned Elk City. Did you move there?
No, we never lived in Elk City. What was the name of the place we went to? What are you going to do with all this?
It's going to go in the State Museum.
Oh,
What kind of work did your father do?
my father was a carpenter. And when he finally come to Elk City, he built a lot of these houses in the north part of Oklahoma City. My father and my older brother. Some of them beautiful old homes. They built a lot of them.
What, in Elk City?
No, here in Oklahoma City. And that's what I mean. I don't remember much between there.
You ever see any of the houses he was working on here in Oklahoma City?
Yes, I've been in.
What, up around Heritage Hills,
I'm Capitol Hill.
But how old were you when he was building these homes?
Oh, shucks. I don't know.
Were you married then? Were you married then?
Well, I married while he was building here because he built some of them for years.
When did you get married? What year?
Me?
Yeah.
1907.
1907?
And I was married in Arapahoe. Now that could have been the county seat. It was at that time, but I don't know how long they'd been there. Long time, yes.
Where did you meet your husband?
In Falls, Oklahoma.
And where?
Falls, F-O-S-S, Falls, Oklahoma. It's still there. I went to school there a while. I didn't stay on long.
What was the name of the school?
I don't know. It just Falls, Oklahoma, and that's all I know about it.
Remember any of your teachers?
No, I don't remember any of them. I remember some of them. Well, I mean, just to remember it was my teacher, but I don't know in what years or nothing about that.
What kind of games did you play when you were going to school?
Very few. I didn't do much playing when I was going to school.
Did you ever play basketball?
No, I never played basketball.
Do you remember Statehood Day?
Well, it seemed like I remember about it, but I don't remember what was going on or nothing.
Yeah, that was 1907, November 16th, 1907.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Well, we went to Arapahoe to get, to be married. We just lived with Grandma and Grandpa and had such a little house, and my husband wouldn't go to church and be married. He just wouldn't be married in church, so we went to Arapahoe. That was the capital, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What was your husband's name?
William Lacey Jolly.
What kind of work did he do?
Well, he done any kind of work he'd get to do. He's just a worker, that's all.
You mentioned you lived with your grandparents for a while.
We did.
What were your grandparents' names?
James Ball and Sarah Ball.
Where were they from?
I do not know.
How many kids do you have?
I raised 10 children. I gave birth to 12. And there's 8 of those living yet. But they're scattered here and yonder.
Yeah. When you first married, what kind of work did your husband do? You said he did.
Well, at that time he was working working at a cotton mill, you know, where you make bales cotton.
Mm-hmm. Where at?
Jim.
In Arapahoe?
No, that was at Falls, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
We lived there quite a while.
So, did you raise your kids at Falls?
No, I didn't raise any of them for us. We went to eastern Oklahoma then, before my first one was born.
Mm-hmm. What was the town of Falls like? Can you describe it to me?
Well, then there wasn't much there but two stores, groceries and dry goods, all one store. And there was a post office there, and 2 doctors, and one drugstore. That's about all there was there at that time.
What were the doctors' names? Do you remember?
Oh, any other time I could have thought of both of them. Well, I can't think of it right now.
Then you moved to eastern Oklahoma.
Yes, we moved to eastern Oklahoma.
What part?
Well, we lived close to Dustin, and Carson was the name of the post office.
What was Dustin like?
Not very much, just a little country town, that's all I know. I didn't go there much.
Did you live on a farm?
Mm-hmm.
Did you live on a farm?
Well, part of the time we did, and part of the time we didn't. Like I said, he done any kind of work he could, so.
When you didn't live on a farm, where'd you live? Did you live in town?
At Carson, we lived in the country, but we didn't have no farm. What did he do? He worked around the country, that's what he did, whatever he could get to do.
And that's where you raised your 10 kids?
They've been born and raised everywhere, here and yonder and all, every place. He just moved lots of times because he, like I said, if it settled down in a little old town, it wasn't worth there long, he'd jump up and run to another one.
What kind of work did he do mainly? What did he enjoy doing the most?
He never had no certain kind of work until he finally, after got to be an old man, he took up electric pump work.
And where'd you live then?
Right here in Oklahoma City.
When did you move to Oklahoma City?
I don't know when we moved to Oklahoma City. After we left that place, like I said, that he, first place we lived was, we went from there to, we must have went to Hennessy. Best I can remember about Hennessy, and that's very little I remember about it.
You traveled by car or by train when you were moving around?
We moved around mostly by train. That is, we did. He knew every way to get there.
Was he in World War I, your husband?
No, he wasn't old enough, I don't guess him. He would have been drafted in World War II if
Was this your husband or your son?
as my husband. And they've been in World War I, but I've had 4 sons in the war. 3 sons in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But he would have been drafted in First World War. If he hadn't had the family he had and his age, he just skipped by, that was all.
Did you do any work for the war effort during World War I?
No, I didn't. I had some children to stay home and take care of.
Where did you live during the Depression in the 30s?
Here in Oklahoma City.
How did you survive during the Depression? What'd you do?
My husband worked for an ice company. He delivered ice when they had to put it in the people's boxes, you know.
What was the name of the ice company? Do you remember?
Yes, I know, but I don't what. It's 444. The telephone number of that place was telephone 44.
That was telephone number 44?
444s. 44s.
And what was the name of the ice company?
That's all I remember about it. I guess they called it the 4 ice company. Number 4 or something, I don't remember.
What kind of meals did you fix during the Depression?
Anything I could get my hands on that I could cook. We ate more cornmeal and anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Come in. Ain't nobody in here like you.
Could you tell me, on the average, what you had for 3 meals a day during that time? What did you have for breakfast?
Well, we usually had, well, I always made biscuits if it was time we could, but we had cornmeal a whole lot, had cornbread for breakfast lots of times. And then I managed to make a gravy with a little bitty piece of meat or something. Maybe it wouldn't be enough for it all, but cooked what there was. And we used to eat lots of oats and things that way, oatmeal, you know. We got by, but we had a tough time of it.
Yeah. What do you serve for lunch? For dinner?
Oh, I usually had some beans or something that way. And I'd eat that, and then I'd have the same for supper.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's very short. I just can't remember much about it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to remember it, for one thing.
What were you doing on December 7th, 1941 when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor?
Where was we? We were in Oklahoma City.
Do you remember that day?
Well, just barely do. I didn't remember much about it. My boys was in the war.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 boys in the war at that time and one in the training camp.
Did you do any work for the war effort during World War II?
I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. What's your fondest childhood memory?
Heavens, I don't know. I remember the first school I went to, and that's just about it. We lived in Parson, Kansas, and I went to that school when I was 7 years old. We didn't go to school until we were 7. We didn't push them out like they do now.
So you moved to Parsons, Kansas?
Oh yes, we lived in Parson, Kansas before we went out in Oklahoma. I forgot about saying anything about that.
What was Parsons like?
Just a big city, that was all. That's all I remember about it.
The year you were married, 1907, there was a big depression that year.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, not much of it. I remember some, a little of it. Don't amount to anything.
Have you met any interesting people in your lifetime?
And interest.
Any interesting people? Anyone that's famous or infamous?
Oh, no, not amount to anything. I tell you, I raised a big family, and I had all I could do without hunting something else.
Can you tell me about some of the jobs your husband did take? What kind of work he did?
Oh, he done everything.
Oh, like what?
Well, I just don't know where it started at. He run a cotton mill, gin cotton. First year we were married, and he went to Elk City, and I said once I didn't live in Elk City, but I did, but I'd forgot about it. And he worked on the railroad then.
What did he do for the railroad?
Huh?
What did he do for the railroad?
Well, what he called it was a section, and then after they built after he got off of the railroad track, section. What did he do? He had so many jobs, I just don't remember.
After the railroad, what did he do?
I don't know.
You ever go to Guthrie?
What?
Ever go to Guthrie, Oklahoma?
Guthrie? Yes, I've been to Guthrie.
What was that town like?
And just about like all the rest of them. Mother had a half brother living there for a long time, and we visited them a time or two, but not many times.
Do you remember when they moved the state capital from Guthrie to Oklahoma City?
Well, I remember at the time, but outside I don't remember doing anything or what anybody else done. I just remember that they moved it, that's all.
What was your idea? Should they have moved it, you think, or kept it in Guthrie?
Well, wasn't Guthrie the first capital? That's what I thought. Well, they moved it to Oklahoma City, and I guess it's been there ever since. Guthrie did try to get it back, but they never did make a deal. If they did, I don't remember it.
How many grandkids do you have?
Huh?
How many grandkids do you have?
I don't know exactly how many I've got. There may be one or two I don't know about, but I had 35 one time.
How many great-grandkids?
I don't know. There's too many of them to count.
Well, do you have any comments about your childhood or your married life? Anything you want to tell me?
Oh, no, I don't think they're worth telling.
Any advice for your kids, your grandkids?
You know what?
Any advice for your kids or grandkids?
No, I guess not. They all went to school and learned what they could, and what they didn't know. Boys, when I had boys, three boys in the war at the same time, such as that. And outside of that, it didn't amount to nothing much. They just all. And the 4 boys are living right around here. One lives in Tecumseh, the other 3 are in here.
They come and visit you?
Well, some of them once in a while. Most of the boys our 3 boys, drove these big trucks, you know, from city to city, here and yonder, and all everywhere nearly. But one of them, he worked here in Oklahoma City for years till he got sick and not able to work. Now he takes care of me. He comes in here every few days to see if I'm getting along, what they're doing to me and so on. So brings me medicine, takes me to my doctor when I need to go, such as that. The rest of them, they don't hardly show up once in a while. I have a daughter, though, that comes same as this son, and the day she takes an ocean. Expecting her any minute.
What was Oklahoma City like when you first moved here?
Well, I just don't remember hardly. I know when I moved here, but
What
it
year?
wasn't much city then, and it wasn't a big town.
What year did you move here?
Oh, I don't know. No, I actually don't know.
Ever meet the governor or the mayor?
No, I never did. I never did go to any place like that.
What part of Oklahoma City did you live in?
Well, we lived in 2 or 3 different places. We lived we never lived in any big part of the town. Right now, if I had a home the size of this, it would be out around the country here. It wouldn't be up in town. We never had money to buy homes like lots of people did. We just had too much family, I guess.
Well, I think we have a good interview.
And ought to be enough.
Your first name is Mary?
Mary, yes. Mary Kathryn.
Got my name, one of them.
Yes. And I have a grandson that his grandmother, both his grandmother's name was Kathryn. The only difference between her and me, she spelled her name as C and I spelled mine with an A. I mean, spelled mine with a C, with a K, and she spelled hers with a C.
What do you remember about your grandfather?
Very little. My grandfather on my mother's side was a carpenter, a blacksmith. I can remember him going to that old blacksmith shop and working.
Is that in Missouri?
Yes, I was in Missouri.
What was his name?
His name, Morris Baker.
Was that in Windsor? Was that in Windsor?
No, that was in Warrensburg.
Warrensburg, Missouri? What I'd like for you to do, if you would, this is just...
November '82.
Mm-hmm. Today's the 24th.